Welcome to episode 9 of the Accidental Sportswashing podcast. And I'm pretty close to 10, but not 10 yet. Unfortunately, once again, Miles is too busy bagging the MILFs and the snow bunnies in Colorado. So Ryan has joined us once again. And of course, as always, Josh.
Yo, what's up?
What's good?
But yeah, so you guys already met Ryan last week. And because we have a really jam-packed schedule this week, so I think it's good to just jump into it. So Ryan, you want to just hit us with the schedule for last week?
So we'll start off with Thursday night football with Baltimore and Tampa Bay. The Ravens 27. I don't know how to feel about the Bucks at this point. They just kind of aren't winning, and Brady's just I don't know. They're just weird. The NFC North South sucks. It's a weird game.
Yeah, they're just not a good team.
I'm glad because unfortunately I was at work during the game, but when I was checking my phone, I was like, "Yo, let's go Lamar," because I know Lamar has that dog in him, and I'm just glad the Ravens are actually playing well again. Well, the Bucks aren't as good as they have been in the past, but to be able to go and not dominate, but play really well against a team like that, no matter because they still have a talent on defense. So I still do think it's a good sign for them going forward.
Yeah, and also, the Ravens started off slow. They had like 3 points in the first half, and then they ended the second half with 24. So I think they adjusted pretty well, and they played really good, honestly, in the second half.
Exactly.
Just killed them.
Then that's something you really want to see because that's something they have done. They've started off really well, and then they've slowed down in the second. So that's something I'm really excited for them to see from them. And that's the true makings of contender. Anything else you want to speak about on this one, Ryan, or can we move on?
Yeah, I think it's a good point to move on.
All right, so what game was next?
All right, so we got Denver and Jacksonville, and Russell Wilson finally doesn't shit the bed. And, this was just a mid-off. Like, both these teams are not very good. Both these quarterbacks have kind of struggled. I mean, I can't even say Russell Wilson was good. He was just not horrible.
Exactly.
And Lawrence was terrible. I mean, this was just, I don't know. This game is just underwhelming.
Yeah,
I don't like these other games.
Like you said it last week, Josh, they need to stop forcing Jacksonville down their throats in London. It's just...
It's so depressing to see British fans just watching Jacksonville at 12 p.m. for them.
Yeah, I think it's
that's brutal, man.
Ugh. Instead of watching Premier League soccer, you're watching fucking Trevor Lawrence shit the bed. It's just...
And Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson did all right. I think he did pretty all right.
I mean, I think
he had a few big plays.
Yeah. I mean, I also think it's different for them because I think it is also just the experience. It would for us going over and watching a 0-0 draw, but it's a 0-0 draw between two clubs we've never seen before. I think it would still be a pretty special experience. Just the fact that we've barely seen we rarely get to see that level of soccer over here. So I still do get the idea and the appeal of it. I'm happy the sport is growing, but holy shit, we have to start playing better in London. But at least the Giants Packers game was good. But then people weren't there for the Giants; they were there for Aaron Rodgers. So
yeah. Also, Travis Etienne is really good.
Exactly.
Holy shit.
I'm glad they're finally putting their full faith into them and they're just going all out with him.
Yeah. The last 4 games, 7.1 yards carry, 8.6, 8.14, and 6.5.
Yeah, that's what you want to see, and he's a threat in the passing game too.
Yeah, he's just really
he's
good.
A dog. All right, Ryan. Unfortunately, I know we have to talk about this game. The Giants, the mighty Giants, finally falling. The fumble's not falling their way for once. And for another game, I really wasn't able to watch any games on Sunday because I was working again. But holy shit, man! I was just checking my phone. I just got so depressed. I was so depressed.
Dude, Richie James has to go. I'm sorry. There's no reason for him to be.
But the thing is, who's gonna fucking replace him?
That's a good point. I don't even get, dude. It's just this is terrible.
Ethan, we need you.
We need God to just. We need someone. We just need someone to be.
We need Odell to get to sign for the Giants. Just some.
Yeah, I mean honestly, we just need some receivers.
This is a bit off topic, but he should really go. I hope he should really go to the Ravens. I don't hope he does, but he should really go to the Ravens. There's no reason they shouldn't throw a bag at him. Especially with the recent trade they made.
Is he back from injury yet?
No, but he'll be back for a playoff push. I believe.
Okay, fair enough.
But just back to the game. Gino just continues to ball out in the age 32 season, and now you used to have people say, "Oh, but would you really want to give a 32-year-old vet a big contract?"
Yeah.
Fucking bro. First of all,
At this
it's not like
point, yeah, sure.
he's not taking a lot of wear and tear, and there's so many quarterbacks. There's so many teams that could improve a quarterback with him. So you can legitimately say he's a top 10 quarterback this year. Probably top 5.
This season, he's definitely top 10.
Yeah, I mean,
the quarterback game has not been strong this year.
Also, on top of that, I mean, like, people are acting like we're talking about giving Geno Smith, like, a Mahomes contract. Like, he's going to get, they're no one's going to give him a Mahomes contract. If he gets a pretty big contract, he'll deserve it, and the team will be happy with what they got with him. It's not like this is a guy who's also, like, a game manager and is, like, in the greatest system ever.
He makes plays.
Yeah, like, the
He
Seahawks would
good
be dog
throws.
shit without him.
Exactly.
Without him, they're dog shit.
Yeah, and then plus you have what's his name? He should be getting a contract similar to what Brock Osweiler got. He's deserving of that because he's actually showing he can actually go and ball out. And it's not like he's taking a bunch of wear and tear either. He's been riding the bench for a while now. So yes, he's 32, but that looks a lot worse than if you look at the snaps he's played each season. It's barely anything. But,
I also want to point out, this is around the age where Ryan Tannehill with the Titans kind of turned his career around. So this isn't like a new thing for quarterbacks.
Exactly.
We've seen quarterbacks, perform well at, quote unquote, later stages of their career.
Yeah.
And I think the difference here is that there isn't like a Derrick Henry for us to point at and say, oh, this is why he's so good. I do actually expect there's going to be a pretty good market for Geno Smith. And I expect that he's going to go and play for either a good team or maybe Seattle decides to build around him for a couple years.
Anywhere else but Indianapolis, I beg. Anywhere else.
Not Indianapolis, please God no.
But what's the next game on our list?
Ruin him, honestly.
What's the next game on our list?
I believe we have Denver and Atlanta. Not Denver and Atlanta. Carolina and Atlanta here. This was actually like a really good game. Like, this was a surprisingly good game. I'm pretty sure Atlanta now leads the NFC South.
Yes.
Which I didn't think was going to be a thing. Shout out Marcus Mariota. We rail on him, and he.
No, I don't care. even on his good weeks, because then last time we praised him, he was absolute dog shit for like the next 3 weeks. So we are a staunchly anti Marcus Mariota podcast.
Wait, do we want him to play good or play bad?
It doesn't fucking matter because they're gonna play him regardless. So I don't fucking care at this point.
This is just and Kyle Pitts had a touchchand. This is new for me. These are revelations to me. They're actually targeting him.
I mean, if he's not gonna play, I'd rather him play bad because I really do want to see what what's his name can do.
Ritter,
Ritter can do, but at this point, I don't. Unless he throws 5 picks 3 games in a row, I don't see it ever happening. And then the thing that scares me, I don't want Ritter to go out there, have a shitty game, and then they pull the plug on him immediately. Because
for a guy who isn't a first rounder, if you start and you get benched, that's your career right there is over. Like it's sad. You've got like a very small window. I don't know how to feel about. I mean, this is legitimately just the Atlanta Falcons are the least bad of the NFC South. This is a depressing division, man.
Also, you see that PJ Walker touchdown? Like that 6-yard bomb he had.
Yeah, that was fucking like Like PJ Walker, I love this. The renaissance of the black and colored quarterback. It's beautiful. It's fucking beautiful.
So, should probably talk about next game?
Yeah, so what's up next, Ryan?
We had Chicago at Dallas, where Dak Prescott just beat the ever-loving shit out of the Chicago defense. And Justin Fields actually played well, too. So, it wasn't like a bad quarterback game. It was a bad defense game.
The battle of the lightskins.
Also, Tony Pollard. 14 carries, 131 yards.
Dogging him.
3 touchdowns.
Dogging him.
Dude was insane that game. Like, I saw some of the clips, and he was, like, breaking tackles, making insane runs. It's actually insane to watch. Yeah,
but, I mean, the Cowboys just went out there and did what they did. But it is the Bears. I still don't view them as the number one or... I'd say they're a top 3 team in the East, but then there's a pretty big gap between them and Philly. So, and I would even take the Vikings over them, especially now with Hawkinson.
I'd take the Vikings over the Cowboys. Yeah,
I think they're on the same level, but I do agree. Like let's not fool ourselves. The Eagles are clearly the best team in the NFC right now. I think the gap between them and the Cowboys, as you mentioned, is so massive. I mean, maybe that closes it a little bit, but I mean, I gotta see more, man. Yeah. I gotta see more.
Yeah. So, but what's up next now, Ryan?
We have Miami and Detroit, which was another just like, I mean, Tua he just fucking railed the Lions defense for 3 quarters after struggling.
And most of all, I'm glad Tua's back. Hopefully, back to normal. He stays consistent because that's my number one thing with this whole situation. I want him to be okay. I want him to be safe and have a prosperous career. But it looks like he's doing that without the ball. Tyreek. I mean, it's fucking hilarious. Seeing takes like how Tyreek would be ass now because he fucking doesn't have Mahomes. They're great without each other, and they're just insane when they're together. So the people who
also it's Tyreek is on pace for 2,000 yards. I think Jalen Waddle's on pace for 1.5K. I think that's an insane duo.
And I think PFF had it that it would be like by far the best duo, like highest racking up the most amount of yards ever for a duo. But but also going back to the point I just made, I feel like that was somewhat rooted in racism, especially from Kansas City fans, because he is that like he has a lot of jewelry and stuff and a lot of back in my and I feel like a lot of people were like, back in my day we didn't flaunt all that jewelry. And like all that, like the subtle racism, and it's just really.
I also think people just think Tyreek is good because of his speed, and that's it, which isn't true.
Yeah, I mean he's a talent. Like I think a lot of people, kind of generalize any non-white athlete as just they're an athlete first, and they're not actually skilled in terms of like the technical skills.
Especially sorry,
Lamar. You see this with Lamar too. It's like, he's just like ridiculously athletic. It's not like he's actually good at playing quarterback.
Not like he has a fucking brain or something.
Yeah, no. I mean, how? I mean, it's insane. But
how else would you slander him?
Dude, I mean, Waddle and Hill. I don't think I hope NFL fans can appreciate having Waddle and Hill on the same team for a while because we're never gonna. I don't know if we're ever gonna see a duo like that again. Yeah. Those two are just ridiculous, man. It's insane.
Yeah. But so what's the next game on tap for us?
All right, so we got Arizona and Minnesota, which was, I mean, I don't know how to feel about the Cardinals. I just don't.
Yeah, it's every fucking year with them. It's been like this every single year that I can remember. Like besides the years they're a bit blatantly tanking, but it's just like there's always something missing, and like they have the talent on paper. It's like them and the Chargers. They have the talent on paper, but at least the Chargers get injured all the time. The Cardinals legitimately have no excuse. So, and it's so hard to evaluate, well, at least from our point of view, from a fan point of view, it's so hard to evaluate them because each year they have the talent on paper, but then when you put that product on the field, it's not even dog shit. It's mediocre, and sometimes they ball out, and sometimes they're just horrible. And at one point, you just have to strip down and start again. But then, how many times have they done that in the past couple of years, In the past, in this generation. So.
I think, for the most part, I think the Cardinals' struggles come from their coaching, because I still don't think Cliff Kingsbury is a good coach whatsoever.
No way. Yeah, that's definitely the root of the issue.
The fact that he still has a job is kind of crazy.
But it's so hard.
He's not a good coach.
But it's so hard to get a good coach nowadays too, and they also have the worst GM by far. Like they're like, Jesus Christ.
Okay, I know it's hard to find a good coach, but you mean tell me you can't find some like random like mid-30s, early 40s nerd to just fucking take over, man? Like,
well, you also we both know we all know who their fucking GM is. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, it's upsetting because I mean, I look at Kyler Murray and some of the stretches he can put on together. He just looks so like he'll have like MVP like stretches. Well, I'd be like, oh my god, this guy's like a top 5, top 10, like top 5 quarterback. He's so fucking good. And then he'll play through stretches where he looks awful.
Exactly.
It just doesn't feel like there's. How do I put it?
That's why I really want him to move out, because just go somewhere else so he can just play somewhere else, have a decent fucking coach, and actually shows, because he has a ton of potential. I think he has Russ-like potential, prime Russ-like potential.
He's so good, and I hope that, and he's so talented, and I hope he understands. Brian Dable would get the most out of him. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to be too biased, but
Well, Brian Dable's a good coach, and Cliff Kingsbury isn't, so I'm just saying.
All right, so what's the next topic we got?
All right, so we got Las Vegas and New Orleans. I mean, the Saints that is the most embarrassing offensive showing I think I've seen from a team in a very long
They
time.
just fucking rolled
Like,
over and died. Like I
Derek
said,
Carr gets. Wait, go ahead. You go ahead.
yeah. No. What were you saying?
I said Derek Carr gets, one of the greatest receivers of our generation and turns to a fucking pumpkin. So, welcome to. Well, I mean, God,
he quite literally has mush for brains, and it's really sad because I was all in. Like the AFC was really balling in the early 2010s. Like Derek Carr, Derek early 2010s Derek Carr, maybe not early, but like mid. And like when he first got drafted, in those first couple years, they were just balling out. It was really fun to watch. And now it's just like sucks. He's literally a shell of him for himself.
I also just think that Raiders team is not that good.
I mean,
like
we all knew.
They have a good running back. They have good receivers, but they also just don't have anything else that's really that good.
Yeah. I mean, literally, that's what I said. They have good skill position. They have a good quarterback. Well, not even good. Half decent quarterback. Good and some good defenders. But besides that, they're bottom 5 in every other position I didn't mention. So you can't win with a weak foundation. And it's not like they have an all-time or they have a really good quarterback, a top 7 quarterback.
They have like an above average quarterback.
Maybe 12 at his best to like 19th, 20th. And that's if you don't have a good foundation, but you have good skill positions, that's not gonna win you shit. So trading for Devontae was a lose-lose trade right there. I don't like. Yes, the Raiders got better, but did they really get better if they're doing this?
The way I see it is like you meant. Like I think Carr, and I don't think Carr is good enough for you to say he's like some insane quarterback, but I don't think he's bad enough to be doing what he's doing right now. I think you look at what their hires. I mean, Josh McDaniels is fucking awful. I don't know what they were thinking there. I mean, Devontae Adams and Derek Carr should just automatically be a team that's at least a league average.
They still have Renfro. They still have Jacobs. They still have Waller. And
so it's not like we're looking at a team that's like fucking terrible offensive. Like last year, I'm not saying they were the most efficient team, but they still put together points. They still did what they had to do. This year, they're fucking useless.
Yeah, like Josh McDaniels is not getting enough fire because literally the last time it's not like fucking what's name's offense has been anything special. And the first go around in Denver he had was fucking horrible. So I don't get why teams keep fucking hiring him.
He has all I'm gonna say is
Roger Goodell nudes.
It has something to do. It has something to do with a word that rhymes with right and starts with the letter W. That's all I'll say.
Right? I don't get that.
He's white. He's very white.
Oh.
He's got nothing to do with anything else. He's just white. I'm sorry. That's the only reason he's got a job. If I'm like, we have people calling for Tomlin to be fired with his first full bad season as an NFL coach.
Yeah, we talked about
and
that
McDaniels. McDaniels has been consistently one of the worst fucking coaches and not a good offensive coordinator, but because he worked with Tom Brady, he's getting NFL coaching jobs. Come on,
it's like,
be real here.
God, but
who's that dude? Who's the head coach for the Jets at one point?
Todd Bowles?
No, he was also the Dolphins coach at one point.
Oh, Philbin? No. Oh, Adam Gase.
Yeah, it's basically that situation all over again.
At least he's gone. I mean, at least he's fucking gone, dude. At least he's not here anymore. Like, there's just.
What's the next game? We're getting very off topic here.
Oh, next game. Next game, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
We got. Speaking of fucking Josh McDaniels, and the Jets. We have the Patriots at the Jets, where we had some horrific quarterback play.
Zach Wilson was so bad that game.
Yeah, because I really didn't read anything about this game. Was it really that bad on both sides?
It was really bad.
Jesus. It was just ugly. This was just an ugly game.
I don't even know how to describe it. It was really bad.
Jesus.
I don't really have anything to say other than that was a miserable game to even watch highlights of.
I can imagine, yeah. Because the only thing I see I follow, I don't know if you guys know, but I hate Sean and a couple other Knicks fans who are Jets fans. So I always see them overreacting. So I think but it's so I don't know what to take from their tweets until I actually look at the box score. But yeah, nothing much on that game. It was half of the AFC is just happening. If it wasn't for the Bills being good, the AFC North would be just like the AFC South in occurrence. So.
Yeah.
But all right. So what's the next game, Ryan?
We have Pittsburgh at Philly, and this was just a beatdown. I mean,
a nasty, just a drubbing.
Jalen Hurts just was as efficient as you can be. They ran, Kenny Pickett did not look good again. I mean, there's not much else. I mean, there's Najee Harris looked terrible. I mean, it's just.
We haven't done it in a while, but we have to put up that video of him trying to juke out niggas, and he goes absolutely nowhere and gets fucking steamrolled. Fucking hilarious.
He has no burst whatsoever. No, he's like the slowest running back I've ever seen.
It's fucking Frank Gore.
It's incredible that this Steelers team. I don't even. They're just bad.
But the fact that Najee is getting so many touches when he's not even the best running back on his team is kind of absurd. Jalen Warren is I know they spent the first round pick on him, but still, it's at least admit that you're wrong.
No, I agree. And then you just look at what the Eagles are able to do on a daily, on a game-to-game basis. You can say maybe they aren't playing the best teams. You can say whatever you'd like to say. But, I mean, offensively, as you mentioned, A.J. Brown had 3 fucking touchdowns the half. I mean, they are just a juggernaut of a team. Yeah. I hope that their first loss, not their first loss comes sooner rather than later.
Tonight, let's pray on it. Let's fucking pray on
it. I need it. But I will say this. It's hard for me to root against Jalen Hurts as well because that his shot when he got drafted.
I don't find it.
I can't. I have trouble doing it just because I was wrong about him too. I was like, this guy is not that good.
Oh, I was extremely wrong about him earlier in the season, but by week 3 my agenda crumbled. But no, he's the only black. Last year I didn't hate on him too much because the Eagles weren't that good. Them making the playoffs pissed me off, but they got absolutely fucking destroyed in the first round. So I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Whatever, he's black. I won't be too mad at him. Fuck the rest of them. But now the fact that they're doing, fuck them. Fuck Philly. Fuck that fucking fuck. But what's the next?
I understand that.
I understand that.
What's the next game we have?
All right, we've got Tennessee at Houston, which is a snooze fest because unfortunately we didn't get a great performance from Malik Willis and then Derrick Henry.
I just want to say people. I don't even like that take because he had maybe 10 throws and people are super overanalyzing it. He's a we all knew he's a project quarterback.
Oh, he wasn't ready. He was not ready.
He probably won't be ready for another year.
Still super raw.
Yeah, he's gonna. If he becomes a good quarterback, it'll take time. It was just it's the AFC South.
But he has the skills. He's just too raw. And learning behind a quarterback, a very mediocre quarterback that doesn't really fit his play style or what could be behind Tannehill, I don't really like that. I'd like to see him somewhere else, somewhere a little bit. Not mobile, but someone who can move around and has that arm strength. Someone like Geno. I could see him developing into a Geno, but he's not gonna be able to do that in Tennessee, a run-heavy offense behind a very mediocre game manager like Ryan Tannehill.
I think just for now, I feel like one game isn't enough to really judge him.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And once again, I think we all agree that he's a project. He's not going to be a guy that's going to be good off the bat.
Nothing really special about this game, so you guys want to move on?
Yeah.
All right, so we got Washington at Indianapolis, which, I mean...
I don't know. Fuck, it pisses me off every week. What the fuck? How do you let... I keep calling them the Washington football team in my head. How do you let the fucking Commanders get to 500, man? The thing that pisses me off the most is Heineke's shoes every week. Come on, dude. You're not that good. You're not that guy.
Also, Jonathan Taylor is not doing that good, and I think he's out again with
guess who drafted him 2nd overall?
Fuck.
Yeah.
I
gave up and traded him. I forgot for who, but I gave up and just traded him.
The Linsanity run is over.
Yeah.
For this dude.
I've seen that tweet too many times. But
dude,
fuck that motherfucker.
Yeah. Both these quarterbacks were very low. Ellinger he wasn't bad when he passed the football. He just didn't pass it much. They were gonna rush the football all game, and that makes sense. And then Heineke just did he just made the throws he had to make. This wasn't an impressive showing from either of them in terms of wow, this guy's crazy.
But Heineke did have a really good throw towards the end, but still.
Oh no, for sure. He made the throws he had to make, which is ultimately sometimes for the Commanders right now, they're in win. They just need wins, so that's all they really care about. But this proves that Carson Wentz reeks of piss and shit as well. I mean, the dude's terrible. I'm sorry. I hope Washington starts losing again because I mean I can live with the Eagles being good. I cannot live with the Cowboys and Washington also being good in tandem. So
also,
Yeah,
who
cool.
are the
NFC
Colts
East
going
is
to run
cool, but
now that Hines is traded and that Taylor might not play next week?
did they trade for running back in that deal? I believe.
yeah,
I'm not
they
sure.
might have. I mean, we'll talk about it in a little bit though.
Yeah.
So, but what game's up next?
We have San Francisco doing their annual tradition of dicking the
I'm
Rams.
telling you,
Yes.
man, they own the Rams. They own
Yeah.
the Rams. They know everything.
I think that they have a fucking mole in there. Have you guys watched Mr. Robot?
Yes.
You know
Hell
the
yes.
FBI agent. He I think they have something like that on the Rams because it's absolutely fucking hilarious how every fucking year, without fail, no matter how good or bad either team is, they just fucking go down there and give them fucking back shots.
Also, McCaffrey had a throwing touchdown.
Yes,
which
that
is
was
like,
funny.
Yes.
That was funny.
that was weird to watch.
It's funny to look on the box score because it's just the one. It just shows up as a one throw, 34 yards. So Garoppolo was complimentary as well. They did everything. I mean, this team is just such a. And they did this without. I think they didn't have Deebo Samuel today. I'm looking at the box score. I don't think he was available. I think he was hurt.
Yeah.
So this team is a fucking wrecking ball the same way in terms of like being loaded. And the NFC really just has the Eagles, it feels like right now, and a bunch of teams that are kind of figuring themselves out.
I mean,
so
I think the
Rams scored 0 points.
I would have the 40. I would have the way I would rank it. I'd have Eagles a decent gap, 49ers, another not as big gap, but definitely a gap. Vikings, then Cowboys, and then you have the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be like, would we be if San Francisco beat the Cowboys or the Vikings?
I think so.
Like,
I believe so.
I would
be on the same tier.
I wouldn't. The San Francisco would be interesting. That's what all. I think we're gonna have to wait a little longer to figure out a concrete take about these guys. But I'm high on them. I'll buy stock.
Me too. And then next up is Sunday Night Football, right?
Yeah, we had Buffalo. I mean, we said this
like we know.
We said what was going to happen. We were all. I mean, you went into detail, Dre, but this was a beatdown. I don't even think Josh Allen played his best game, and they beat This wasn't close. This just wasn't close.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Also, you saw the thing about Diggs and Jair Alexander going at it before game or something.
I mean, Jair was good. And it's kind of sad he's been kind of forgotten this year, but Diggs is an absolute beast. It's fucking insane. Diggs is way good. But nothing too much about this game. It's just how it should have been. Packers, not as good as they've been in the past. Bills, best team in the NFL. That's it.
Yeah.
And then Monday night, you had another non-quarterback try to throw. Went fucking horribly. But yeah. The Browns.
That was
bad. The Browns
game.
And Bengals. Joe Shiesty with it's really upsetting because I really do like Burrow, and he's just having on and off games. And I get he didn't have Jamar, but then the thing that pissed me off, I bet on T Higgins over 5.5 receptions, which makes sense with him being the wide receiver 2, without the best one of the best wide receivers in the league out. No, just fucking no. Joe Shiesty doesn't want to throw to his best receiver on the field. But yeah. I mean, that game was just bad.
I think this also just goes to show how bad their play calling is.
Yeah, Zach Taylor legitimately should not have a job, but he's just so lucky the defense played out of its mind last season in the playoffs. Because with the way the Bengals regime is set up, that automatically gave him a decade as head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Amari Cooper, I know he had that horrible pass, but he had an insane game receiving.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I just had to highlight that out because that was pretty fun.
And I just want to point out, the big thing last year was people were saying, with Baker, he does is the team. And I'm not saying that not having Amari Cooper's a big game changer here, but Brissett's kind of showing you can play complementary football and be very effective at it. The Browns' offense, I feel like, hasn't been a terrible offense. It's up and down, it's pass and go, but the defense has been the bigger issue for them. I feel like Brissett's kind of done his job. If the Browns, if you look at what he's done, the Browns would take what he's doing for them happily. I don't know. I think Brissett's going to have a lot of takers next year on like these teams that are looking for like a bridge quarterback.
Colts.
Yeah, I mean Colts might bring him back. Did he?
Yeah.
Wasn't he there?
Yeah.
He was the Andrew Luck replacement, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what his market looks like because I do think he's still like a solid quarterback, and I think that's better than what a lot of teams have, especially this year.
Yeah, but before
this year's been just weird.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to talk about before we move on to the next couple of games. I just want to point out how weird it's been for quarterbacks, and the quarterback market this year is gonna be very, very interesting. Like, there's gonna be so many moving pieces and so many quarterback that actually stepped up this year, and so much regression, and then there's so many young guys who are in limbo. So it's going to be really interesting to see, and I think we got a great preview of that with the trade deadline, which is something I definitely want to talk about. So I have my list here, and then we're just gonna grade each trade. So, the first trade, we're talking about the Bills getting Naheem Hines, and Indianapolis got Zach Moss, a 5th round and a 5th rounder.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Indianapolis won the trade, but that doesn't really matter for the Bills because the Bills did upgrade at running back, and I don't like them sending off draft capital, but it's not like they truly needed a 5th rounder. And I do like the trade for Indianapolis. You got draft capital, and you trade a running back for probably the highest value you're gonna get. So, and you're not doing any winning anytime soon.
We have to consider the Bills probably have like one of the worst run games in the league right now, as great as their offense is.
Exactly.
So the fact that they're just getting a better running back, I think, is enough.
Yeah. So on that, I gave them a C+, and I gave Indianapolis a B, for getting draft capital because you can never have enough as a rebuilding team. So what do you
have the Bills and Colts as like solid Bs.
That's fair. I can respect that.
Yeah, I went with B's as well. I didn't think this was like a crazy trade for either side. I think they got something out of it, and that's really all that matters. So, it's a minor deal in my head.
Yeah.
But then moving on, then you have Denver and Miami making a trade. Denver got Chase Edmonds, a 1st rounder this year and a 4th rounder next year, while Miami got Bradley Chubb and a 5th rounder in 2025, actually. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, this one of the trades I love for both sides because Denver, I think they recognize we're not doing much this year, especially with Mahomes in the division. We're probably not going to make the wild card. So let's get a half-decent running back. You got draft, and then now you have a 1st and a 4th, extra 1st and a 4th, recouping some of the value that you sent off for Russ. Draft capital for a team that needs to maybe not rebuild but reload. While Miami, a team that they can see the AFC is pretty much open besides for the top 1 or 2, so you could really make a push, re-sign one of the best edge rushers in the game, and you add on a 5th in the future, So I gave both Denver, Miami an A.
I think I have Denver as an A and Miami as a B or something like that. Somewhat between that. I really like what Denver did with the picks, especially. So I think that's my stance.
That's fair. What about you, Ron?
Yeah, I actually have it more inverted. I gave the Miami an A and I gave the Broncos a B+. The only reason I'm not giving the Broncos the same grade as I'm giving the fucking Dolphins is because I think that ultimately, yes, they got draft capital and they did greatly. It's a good move for them. But I feel like they're in a weird situation because they're paying a lot of money to a quarterback. They're selling off pieces. They're just in a weird spot as a franchise right now. Whereas the Dolphins, they take a pick that they got in a fleece of a deal and then to convert that into the perfect edge rusher to complement for their defensive line. I mean, I don't think the Dolphins have closed the gap with the Bills necessarily, but I think that they're approaching being good. And all you really need is a shot. Like all you need is a shot in the playoffs.
Like I feel like if you put Matthew's team up in the playoffs, it would be a decent. I'm taking the Bills, but it would still be the Dolphins definitely have a chance. But
and all you need is a chance. Exactly. That's all you need, just a chance.
Exactly. Next up, then you had Denver. Denver and the Jets. Very small trade. You had Jacob Martin and a 2024 5th rounder going to Denver. The Jets getting a 4th rounder in the same year. I mean, you just needed a body to fill. Nothing really crazy about this trade, but and the Jets, I gave them a B-, and I gave Denver a C because they just filled the body while Denver was able to move up basically for 1-1. So yeah, nothing really crazy.
I think it's just what it is. I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything special about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, same. I would just throw C's just because I just don't like this movie. Is just a sure, you know.
And then then you had Miami shipping off a 2023 fifth rounder for Jeff Wilson. And I gave them both B's in the situation because I do like Miami. He can probably step in and be the best running back in that running back room right now in Miami. And wow, the 49ers, they didn't really have use for them as much with CMC, and they gained a fifth rounder. So, and you know, as long as not anything higher than a sixth is somewhat valuable, and especially a smart front office like San Fran, they can work with a fifth.
Yeah, I see that. I don't really have anything else to add.
Yeah.
So
Anything from you, Ryan?
No, I think it's again. I mean, I understand the NFL trade deadlines aren't supposed to be as crazy as like the Major League Baseball deadline, but you know, I'm gonna go with both B's and not just C's because I think it's a little bit more of an important move, but not as important.
Yeah, and then you had a really trade I fucking loved. You had Jacksonville getting Calvin Ridley, shipping off a fifth rounder, 2023, and second rounder next year. I gave Jacksonville an A. I fucking love this move. Because it's really hard. It's gonna be hard to find a wide receiver better than Calvin, who's just stepping into his prime. He's gonna have a year off, so you know he's healthy. He's gonna come back. You're giving your quarterback even more help. And even if you don't like your quarterback, there's a quarterback market this offseason where you can go and get one. You have the offensive line, you have the defense, and now you have the wide receivers. You have Zay, you have Calvin, and you have what's his name? They just signed him this offseason. I'm sorry, I'm blanking.
Oh, you're talking about wait, it was the guy that everyone was making fun of?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Jesus Christ.
It's like in there. I'm trying to like.
Yeah. Shit. We're gonna cut this.
Kirk. It's Kirk. Christian Kirk.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Right,
I don't know why my brain farted so hard there.
But yeah, so now you're getting even if it's T-Law, even if it's someone else, you have that in place. I love that. And then I gave Atlanta, I gave them a B, because they did give up a really good talent. But at the same time, they don't know if they probably know Mariota is not the future, and they're not sure if Rizzo is the future. So they're getting stock in the future. They're getting 20. I really love the 2024 second rounder because you can really make that work. You can use that as a way to trade up, or you can just get a really good value there. So for a player that really didn't, you always have a fit for a good wide receiver, but at this point where they're at, he's already even though he is not still just entering his prime, there's a chance he might fall off at the same time, so you don't really have space for him. But and also to get that kind of value while he is suspended, it's great. But moving on, then you had a trade I didn't really like as much, but there's nothing we could do about it. Dallas and Las Vegas. You had Jonathan Hankins going and a 7th rounder next year going to Dallas in exchange for a 6th round pick. I mean, nothing really special about this. Las Vegas, honestly, they should really have a fire sale, but I don't know if they'll be able to commit to that. But yeah, and I love Dallas. What they did here, just bolster the offensive line for literally no cost. I mean, defensive line for no cost at all.
Yeah. I think it's overall a pretty fair transaction from both parties. Yeah. I don't know. Most of these have been pretty all right. I don't think there's anything.
There's only one trade I absolutely hated, and we're gonna get to that. What do I?
Yeah, but
I think we all agree on that one.
Alright, so.
But next
should
up,
we move on to that or?
No, I'm saving that for the end so I can get mad at that.
Alright.
And then next up, you had Baltimore and Chicago. Baltimore making a splash, getting Roquan Smith, and sending off AJ Klein, a 2nd rounder this year and 2nd rounder, 5th rounder this year. I like this trade, even though it does mean they're gonna have to figure out what to do with the books this season. It shows that they're investing in Lamar, trading away picks this year. So they're saying, okay, we want to win this year. We believe you can take us to the promised land this year, or at least somewhere close. So I think this is a good sign for the Baltimore front office. If the relationships aren't ruined that to that extent already, it shows we're putting money into you, and we're putting capital into you. We're putting our future in you. Hopefully they bring them both back. What do you guys think?
I also think this is just a really big improvement defensively for the Ravens. I think this is kind of like a weak spot that they have. So having like Roquan just like fill in,
Yeah.
I think that's gonna do massive things for their defense.
Anything from you, Ryan?
Yeah, so I mean, the Ravens, as you mentioned, they're a win-now team. They kind of, I think, as you mentioned, they have to be aggressive with Lamar here. I think showing that they're committed to putting a winning product out there for Lamar is important. I also like the Bears getting the compensation they got back. Could they have gotten more in the offseason? Maybe. But I think sometimes you'll see a team be stubborn when they originally don't trade a guy, and then ultimately, instead of trying to get at least some value back, stay stubborn and then lose that player in a free agency. So at least the Bears kind of realize, like, we're not bringing him back. There's no reason to hold on to him.
Plus the Bears,
we're not good.
Yeah, Roquan is having his best year, and the Bears are the worst defense. So there's no reason.
So just get rid of him.
Yeah, I love that they got a second round and a fifth round. Like, any smart office can really make some moves with that. So, but then second to last trade we're gonna talk about today. A trade I really loved. Chicago getting Claypool for that same second round pick they traded off. Because, like I said, they did something smart with it. Claypool does get a little bit of hate for underperforming this year, but they needed weapons, and for a cost of second round pick, I would maybe a third or fourth, but. If you've seen Justin Fields take those couple steps forward, especially these past couple of weeks, getting him a weapon was the completely correct decision here. I like that they did that.
I think it's an alright trade. I don't know. I'm not that big on Claypool. I think there's still other things that the Bears need to work on. For example, their O-line is still not good. Second round pick is, I don't know, that's kind of big, but I think for what it is, I think it's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Claypool, I mean, I view him as this year's been kind of meh for him, but last year, I mean, he did put up a decent amount of yardage.
Hold on, guys. Sorry. The Nets suspended Kyrie.
Yeah. They suspended Kyrie.
Yeah. Sorry.
Great. I mean, that's
we're
huge.
gonna be talking about this in
right?
like 5 minutes. But let's just finish up. What were you saying, Ryan?
Yeah. I'll just wrap it up with, I think Claypool's a decent receiver. Maybe he puts together a year like his first year. You'll buy on the upside. The Bears just need receivers. I'm at least glad they're trying.
Yeah. The last trade we're going to talk about today, we've got to talk about real fast. Fuck the fucking Lions. What the fuck is wrong with the Lions? So the Minnesota got TJ Hawkinson and 2 fucking fourth rounders. And only gave up a second rounder this year and a third rounder next year.
Third round or the year after that.
The only reason I gave Minnesota an A++++. Irv Smith go downs, and then you fucking upgrade over him, and all you give up is a second and a third. Beautiful. Only reason Detroit didn't get a fucking F- to hell was because they got a second and third instead of just fourths. But holy shit, Detroit's front office is stupid. I don't care if you picked up his option already. There's no reason you can't resign a talent like that. He's having an up and down year, but use that in your advantage to get him on a good contract.
Like when he's healthy, he's like a top 10 player of his position.
Like,
The fact that you get that little of a return is kind of crazy.
Exactly. Expecting a player to ball out with fucking Jared Goff at quarterback is absurd.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything about this, Ryan? Why? Before we move on to predictions.
It is a weird trade in the sense that, like, sure, I know that the Lions aren't good, so you're trying to trade for picks, yada, yada, yada. But as mentioned, they pick up the option. And then, this is a guy you spent a first-round pick on, a top 10 pick on, the 8th overall pick, to be specific here. Did you get the value you wanted to get out of your 8th-round pick? I don't know. I feel like especially since, you're bad enough that you can go out next year. Literally, you could walk into next year with, one of these prized quarterbacks at the top of the draft class and feel pretty good about your chances to at least compete in your division. And a guy like Hawkinson's a big piece of that for a young quarterback. Let's say a CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, one of those two guys. Having a good tight end, a reliable tight end is important. You have you have a chance to have a reliable weapon there, a safety blanket, and you remove that safety blanket. Unless they have a contingency plan that they feel confident in at tight end, I just feel like you're like
they don't.
Man, it feels like, again, from the perspective of looking at a lot of young quarterbacks, a lot of them struggle with not having that safety blanket. Having a good tight end's a nice safety blanket to have, especially one who's reliable like Hawkinson. Sure, he has some health issues, but he's still, he's 25, he's young, he picked up his option. It just doesn't really make much sense for a team that I think next year would like to start winning games. When would you like to start winning games? 3 years from now, 4 years from now? I think it has to start next year because you're probably going to draft a quarterback and you want to start winning in that quarterback rookie window. It's hard to win when they start getting extended. So I don't really understand what the game plan is here. I really, really, really don't. When are you going to start winning?
Then, even being the 8th overall pick, he's a good player. He's a really good player when he's healthy.
My point is, what do the Lions plan on winning? It's not going to be next year. You just remove the chance for you to have a chance at winning a little bit next year. Or are you going to continue to be dog shit? You've been dog shit for how long now? I've been alive for 18 years. I cannot remember, these an era, an extended period of time of great Lions football or good Lions football. It seems a shit show. Just fucking try to compete, man. Just try to fucking compete for once. You're gonna get another quarterback. I just don't really understand. I just don't.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
I think that summarizes it pretty well.
Yeah, perfect, Ryan. But so just moving on to predictions, so we can move on to the NBA. So first game, we're just gonna run through this tonight. We have Philly, Houston, Philly.
Philly. Let's be real. It's Philly.
Yeah, Philly.
Chargers, Falcons, Chargers.
Picking the Chargers, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Chargers.
Then you have Miami in Chicago. Miami.
It's at Chicago, so I'm gonna be bold and pick Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Then you have Carolina and Cincinnati. Give me Carolina. I mean Cincinnati, but.
I mean, the Browns are way better than the Panthers, so I'm going Cincinnati here.
Yeah, I think the Bengals are the better team, and Carolina's defense isn't great either. So maybe this will be the game for Burrow and T. Higgins where they kind of go off, and maybe Boyd has a strong game as well.
Assholes. Green Bay and Detroit. Fucking Green Bay, please. If they don't win this game.
Yeah, it's Green Bay. I mean, Detroit's just a shit show. So,
but then
is a hand me up for Rodgers.
Exactly. Next, you have Indy and New England. Give me New England.
I'd say New England. Yeah.
Let's ride the Sam Ellinger. No, I'm joking. New England.
Then you have Buffalo Jets. Give me Buffalo easily.
Yeah, it's the Bills. I don't think that's a contest.
It's over under for me, at least in my brain. It's over under 2.5 scores. That it's not a question about who's winning because it's going to be the Bills, but how much is it going to be? 14, 21, 17? How much?
And then next up, you have Minnesota. You have Minnesota Commanders. I'm going Commanders just so I can sing who are we? Stand up, we the Commanders. I forgot how it goes, but yeah, Commanders.
Let's be real, it's the Vikings.
It's time for Captain Kirk to step up. Let's go, Kirk Cousins.
You like that? Oh God, the amount of times they're gonna say you like that, you like that. It's gonna be so fucking annoying. But and then to close up the 1 p.m. slate, you have Las Vegas and was at Jacksonville, I believe. Give me Jacksonville. Yeah, give me Jacksonville.
I think the Raiders are gonna win this one, barely. Barely. We're talking
that's fair.
A field goal or something.
I think Jacksonville's gonna win, but I think this is gonna be one of the worst games I've ever watched in my life. I think some people are going to look at this game and it's gonna be their reason. It's gonna be the 13th reason. I don't know who made this a game. This game is gonna fucking stink, man.
All right, so for the 4 p.m. slot, then we have Seattle and Arizona. Arizona has been playing pretty mediocre and shitty for the past couple of weeks, so I think this is the week. And Seattle's been playing a little too. It was playing pretty well these last couple of weeks. So the thing is, the week where the stars perfectly in line, and Arizona plays pretty well, and Seattle plays So give me Arizona.
I just think, as much as we show Pete Carroll here, especially Miles, I think he's enough to out-tool whatever the fuck Cliff Kingsbury does. So
fair.
I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
All right. So what are we feeling?
The way you explain that with how Arizona's kind of at some point they got to start playing well. At some point, Seattle's got to drop one. I gotta agree with you. I think I'm going with Arizona. I think it's a great way to put
let's ride. Red Wave or Red Sea or whatever it is. And then the other game on the 4 p.m. slate, absolute shithousery will ensue. The Rams versus the Bucks. Give me the Rams, I guess, but I don't
know. I actually don't know.
Yeah, which washed NFC Titan is gonna win this game? I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay. I'll pick Tampa Bay.
I originally had Tampa Bay, but they look so fucking bad against Carolina. I just can't excuse that.
That is true.
I'm just gonna go with the Rams here. I think maybe even if Cup is injured, I think he's still gonna play.
I feel like if all of us pick the Rams, the Bucks will win. So I'm going to stick with my Bucks pick.
All right, and then to close up for Sunday Night Football, we have Tennessee, Kansas City easily.
Yeah, mopping the floor with them.
Then on Monday night we have Baltimore, New Orleans, Baltimore.
Easily. Yeah, Lamar Jackson's gonna have. I mean, it's gonna be perfect. Monday Night Football, nothing else is going on.
He's gonna fuck the gumbo out the Saints' guts.
Bro, it's gonna be insane. You put it. I'm not gonna repeat it because you already said it. But yes, exactly what you just said. 100%. It's gonna be brutal. It's gonna be brutal, and I want to see it.
All right. So now let's just hop right into NBA. First of all, this just happened as we recording about 10 minutes ago. The Nets have finally suspended Kyrie. I just want to talk about how disgusting. I like just in general. We're gonna talk about all these, but anti-Semitism is really not okay in any sense of the word, and I really do think it's really disgusting. I don't like to compare and pick and choose situations, but you had somebody like Myers Leonard, and where he said, we all know the word he said.
The K thing.
Kyrie didn't come out and say that, but he tweeted out something that was a link. I don't care if he just tweeted out the link. Who fucking cares? He's a more responsible adult. And also, I just want to talk about him. The amount of the length of that shit is fucking absurd. To be able to sit down and watch that shit.
I don't think he actually watched it, honestly.
Yeah.
It's honestly. 3.5. It's a 3.5 hour long documentary, and I think one of their references in the documentary, because I saw some tweets about it, and I also saw some snippets on it. There was a reference that Hitler talks about how he thinks the Jewish people did some shit to black people and something. It's that shit was at some.
Yeah, and it's,
how do you watch something like that and be like, yeah, I'm gonna just promote this real quick?
I mean, what were you saying?
I was gonna just say there's nothing to excuse what Kyrie said. There shouldn't be anything to excuse what Kyrie said. I agree that there's probably a very good chance he actually didn't watch it. 'Cause that seems like a Kyrie thing to do, to post something ridiculously offensive or ridiculously stupid and not actually know what he's posting. But he had every chance to walk it back. I think the NBA put it on a fucking red carpet for him to walk his statements back and not serve any suspensions.
Oh yeah, they gave him a fucking softball. And he was like, no. So I'm glad they suspended him. It took too damn long. And that's really all. I mean, is that pretty much what we have to say about that? It's just disgusting.
And to all the people meat writing him, that meat write Kyrie, suck my balls, lick my nuts.
Yes,
your idol just got suspended. Lick my balls. Lick my balls.
Choke
lick
on
my
them.
Balls.
Gargle them. Gargle his mixed black balls.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson never does that shit. Exactly. Jalen Brunson's a real fucking point guard. Fuck Kyrie.
Because earlier, if you guys don't know, Ryan was arguing with some fucking idiots. We're like, oh, well, it was just, people just straw man arguments. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just picking a certain part of an argument that you can pick apart while ignoring the rest. And then they just go on that and make you look stupid. But that shit only really works if you're having a debate in person. That's why Ben Shapiro is so amazing versus these college students who don't talk professionally. But when you do that shit online, it's so easy just to get dunked on because you can't overpower a person unless you have a massive following. So just people are stupid. But So staying on the topic of the Nets because they want to be fucking losers, hiring Ime Udoka is just absolutely disgusting. It's very disrespectful to all the women involved in the organizations, both the Nets and the Celtics organizations, as well as the NBA allowing it to happen, as well as the NBA just in women
Wait,
in the
can the
NBA in
NBA
general.
even do anything about that?
No, because I think it was like one of those things. How you know how sometimes like the NCAA says, "Oh, if you give yourself a ban, we'll and we think it's adequate, we'll stay out of it." I think it was something like that, especially because it was an in-house thing. But the fact that he's
Yeah.
able to go and coach somewhere else is just fucking disgusting. And
I just think the fact that they even hired him is like, or even considered him, is
even
pretty
consider
absurd.
it. Yeah, it's like, and it's not like, and there's still an investigation going on into him. So why the fuck are you hiring him? And the investigation, they've been doing an investigation for over a month now, and you want to tell me you did an investigation in the span of a week? No, you guys are actual losers. And Steve Nash isn't the best coach, but he's far from the problem. He's far. I mean, he's far from the biggest problem on that team. So
I think I don't really have anything else to add. Honestly, it's such a weird situation. Like I can't even like fathom what it's gonna be like once like Ime actually coaches a game for this
I
team.
hope he
Because
gets
like
hit with the fucking brick.
it's like okay, he cheated on Nia Long, which is like insane.
That's like the least of the like. That's like the lessest.
Also, just like the weird dynamics that happen as a result, and also just the fucking bonfire that he's been placed in right now is just not good.
But anything you got to say about this, Ryan?
Yeah, the Nets are hilarious. They're going to take the moral high ground on this situation with Kyrie, which they should, by the way, and then go hire Ime Udoka right after the situation. They're just a fucking hilarious organization.
I just said this on the pod account. Yeah, good job, Brooklyn, but you still hired a sexual predator.
Yeah, like I genuinely, this is an organization that every time they fall flat on their face, it makes me happy, and I don't feel that way about any other New York. Like I'm a Yankees fan, I don't feel like that when the Mets fall. I don't feel it as a Giants fan. I don't like go like, oh, the Jets lost, let's fucking go.
Like it's the Nets came into New York. I was like, okay, whatever. They were like, oh yeah, we're New York team, but I don't fucking care about them. We still had Melo at the time, and then whatever, they're annoying little brother, but I don't really hate them. Like the Jets. But you want to come in, you want to sign KD, sign Kyrie, and then trade and everybody. And then everybody's all, "Lol, Knicks, you guys didn't get him." And then they proceed to have literally this is worse than the worst case scenario. Because we thought the worst case scenario was them just not winning the chip. No, they've somehow made it even fucking worse. Kyrie sitting out half the games last year, the whole Harden dilemma, and then the Ben Simmons being horrible. Like I am so like I'd rather see them fail than a Philly team fail. And I hate Philly teams so fucking much as a Mets and Giants fan. And
you nailed it on the head, man. I mean, this team. I mean, it's like every single year they dig themselves deeper into.
And they deserve everything that's coming to them. You
get Kyrie and KD, and then they're hurt, and you really can't do anything with them. Right. I can say I kind of feel bad for KD just because in the sense of like he's kind of annoying, but at least I can't.
Because the thing is, I don't even feel bad for KD because he's choosing to stay by, and he did request a trade. True. But he didn't. Has he said anything about Kyrie? No. He has, and that's his bro. Yeah. But sometimes you need to. And my mom, I'm sure his mom, everybody's mom's telling him this. Watch who you surround yourself with. Kyrie didn't just start being weird. Kyrie has probably been weird as fuck since the beginning of the time. We saw it, but everybody laughed it off with the whole world is flat shit. And so he chose to surround himself with these kind of people, and he's gonna get it. So
you're right. You know what? You made a good point.
But moving on to another, it's really mad. I'm really mad. I really said last week that the NFL was by far the worst league, and then here you go, the NBA just taking a nice old shit, and the NFL having a great trade deadline. Fucking hilarious. But yeah, then you have Josh Primo.
Josh, you got this one. It's your team. So I should probably talk about this.
It's your team. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when we first drafted Josh Primo, I was really mad. I think I wanted most of the movie, but that's besides the point. Apparently, this thing first happened in December of last year.
Jesus.
So this has been going on for basically a year. and they just cut him now, which is weird. I think a lot of people are saying like the Spurs have handled this very well, blah blah blah.
No.
I mean, if it happened right on the spot, sure, but like seeing that it's happened
Multiple
for over a
times.
year is kind of weird, or like nearly a year is really weird. You know, it's like I don't even know what to say. It's just like I'm kind of just disappointed because I thought Josh Primo might have been kind of decent for us long term, and here he is doing stupid shit. Like I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say. It's fucking. I'm still kind of just thrown off by the entire thing because I did not expect it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly disgusting how now they're his team is claiming how he didn't do it on purpose or something like that, and it is just really disgusting too. And I tweeted this out on the pod account earlier, how it's just what the fuck is wrong with people? It's just, oh yeah, like he never purposely exposed himself. You're a grown ass man. Oh, he's being taken advantage of by older women, people twice his age. You're a disgusting piece of shit. You should hang yourself from a tree by your toes. It's just, it's really upsetting to know that there's so many other people exactly like him in the NBA and all the sports and in this world that we won't know. So,
I believe I've seen reports of teams still like looking at his workouts or at his workouts. He's not losing his. Not that he's not losing his job. He already lost his job. But he's not like. It's not like it's over for him, you know. Which is sad to
they're
say.
gonna brush this under the rug, and when he gets a job, look, Miles Bridges is also getting a job, even though he just got 3 years probation, only 3 years probation for violently attacking and almost killing his fiance. Like,
yeah,
it's just watch Josh Primo sign with the Hornets.
It's just really upsetting how easily just stuff gets brushed off, especially just because people are so gifted athletically. It's a get out of jail free card, and not even it's more than that. It's ability to still make millions after doing something so heinous, and like I still can't believe these are the people. This is the media that went so hard on Mike Vick, and he was convicted for like dogfighting isn't okay, but compared to beating women, cheating on your wife, and with the woman in your organization in position of power, being anti-Semitic, and they're going about their day just fine. They're gonna come back and make millions. And Michael Vick got sent to prison for fucking 2 years and had his entire legacy tarnished because fucking dog fighting. Like, come on, are we serious? And it's like all those things, or most of those things, wouldn't be as amplified or wouldn't happen if it wasn't for those people doing it. The dog fighting was still gonna fucking happen without Michael Vick.
I think also it sends a message that, you know, if you're good, as long as you are talented at sports, you don't have to be raised right, or you don't have to do the right thing, which I think is a really sad message to send to kids, to young athletes, that the better you are at sports, the less it matters. The less accountability you have to face. Yeah. And as you mentioned, I mean, how many athletes are labeled with this not a team player or a team obliterator or this bad for the team kind of label on them?
And they're great guys. Kayvon, even if you want to look about it, Kayvon did nothing besides be big and black and like to talk a little bit, but not even trash talk. Kayvon, they want to talk about this whole draft cycle. Oh, what about his love for the sport? Blah, 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 all these things. And it's fucking sucked to see these good guys get fucked over while these motherfuckers over there being sick fucks are allowed to keep making millions, generational wealth, when they're pieces of shit and they should fucking feel the repercussions. They should feel the weight of the world on their shoulders, crushing them. Everybody around them disappointing, their family being let down, everybody just hating them. And it's really sickening. People are willing to stand by these people and back them with millions and millions of dollars every fucking year. And it's really, really upsetting. And there's nothing, and the thing that sucks the most, there's absolutely fucking nothing any of us can do about it. Nothing.
I just don't see that changing. I think it's always been like
exactly.
This.
For sure.
Like even outside of sports, like we've seen this happen.
Yeah. It's just really frustrating to see people we look up to behave this kind of way.
And it sucks because it means that, going forward, how do you, getting behind supporting an athlete all the way because of how good they are, it sucks because when you try to enjoy that athlete, you can't put them on, you can't idolize them because there's that chance, that they do something horrible and and not that it's that we're the victims because we're fans, but like in a sense of like, how can I ever fully know the person I'm rooting for isn't some horrible person hiding a closet that I'm going to find out later? And it's really sad, as you mentioned. I hope that the culture around sports is a lot more accepting towards just being a good person. Understand their concept. Yeah, I think that it's going to do wonders for sports. It's going to do wonders for how women feel going into sports, how minorities feel entering into sports, LGBTQ, higher positions.
And stuff like that.
We're in an era where unfortunately, we still don't have many representation from, a lot of minority or groups or women, in these higher up positions. We're talking general managers, executives, owners, head coaches, whatever it may be. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that treating those type of people negatively doesn't carry the same level of consequences for guys that are higher up, and people that are in those higher up positions just tend to be white. It's just how it is, unfortunately, due to circumstances from the past. So, and that still affect us today. So, I mean, I hope one day that does shift. It just feels like with more news that come out about stuff like this, that it feels like we're fighting a losing battle, or an uphill battle. And as you mentioned, it feels like, I mean, what do we how do I as an individual, how do you as an individual, how do we fix this? It feels like it's just tough to do it because it's a huge issue and it takes so many people at once to do it. And it feels like not everyone's on board.
Yeah. But besides that, there's no NFL. I mean, there's some minor NBA stories, but I don't feel like it's proper to bring them up right now because this is how I really want to close it out. Yeah, that's a perfect way to close this episode. Thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, Ryan, for coming on again. And if you guys are, like I say, if you guys are listening to this at night, go to fucking sleep if you're not already. And thank you for listening, though.